quality is better with this. Yeah. Uh-huh. Ah. Anyways, I'm gonna roll up. What I want you to do is educate the people a little bit about Universal Commercial Code, uh, the law of the land, maritime law, straw man, birth certificate. Go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think it was in 1933. We had the market crash. Everything crashed. The banks. Everything was stocks. Everything was crashing. So um, they needed a market. They needed a stock or something of value to use as collateral. So, what was the best collateral? It was us. Human beings, flesh and bloods, souls. That's what they needed. So they used us as collateral for the banks. And it's pretty much the banks could view you as how much you can make for the system, how much taxes you would pay, how much you would work and make. So you were pretty much valuable, as far as that. So they used us as collateral. We were the most value as far as other than anything else, as far as value. So they use us as collateral pretty much in a nutshell. So they use our birth certificates. They had numbers on the birth certificates that could be used in the stock markets. You could trace your numbers on the birth certificates to see how much value you had on the stock market. We were pretty much stock with the prisons. They had us as prisoners with free labor or whatever you want to call it, and they made money with that.
Yeah. So explain the straw man.
Well, the straw man was pretty much they created a separate identity of you. You had the flesh and blood you, and you had the paper you. The paper you was your Social Security, your birth certificate, driver license number, anything else. And that was pretty much another separate identity of you that was identical to you, but that was you. And pretty much they created a corporation out of that was separate from you, because it said that a corporation can only do business with a corporation.
Right.
So they created a corporation that was not flesh and blood, that was a paperwork identity, separate identity or a twin of you that you thought was you, other than the flesh and blood you, that was the paperwork you. And that's what they do business with. The paperwork you, not the flesh and blood you. So
that's why your name be in all caps on everything that
exactly. Just like when somebody dies and they get buried and they have on the tombstone corpse, that's short for corporation. And so they created a corporation of paperwork, from you. And that's what they do business with. And you think that that's you. So you agree to it. You sign on a dollar line, agree to this, agree to that. So you are the what do they call it? They call it the not co-signer, but it's kind of like a co-signer. So you're signing for this corporation that's you, that you think that's you. And so you're approving everything. And they can't do nothing without your signature,
exactly.
Whatever.
Because you are the corporation.
You are the corporation, exactly.
So, but explain to them how this relates to like the maritime law.
Oh, okay. So maritime law, you have the law of the land and you have the law of the ocean. And just like when you had slaves traveling through and on ships and stuff like that, maritime law is the law of the ocean. So that's why you have the birth canal. You have um, you have the what is it? I'm gonna give you an example. The flow of money. You know, that's
Currency.
maritime currency.
The bank.
Yeah,
At the-
exactly. Yeah, you have all of that, and it's based on, you know, maritime law, which is the law of the ocean. That's why all these things are named after the things that goes on in the sea, because in the sea, people have their ships coming through or whatever, and they don't abide by law state to state. So they had to create a maritime law to govern the oceans. And with the oceans, you know, that's why you have the birth canal. That's why you have what is it? The flow of currency. You have all these things that relates to the ocean, because if that's the in that case, China wouldn't pay the USA, Europe wouldn't pay China, and Russia wouldn't pay the USA. You know,
That's what
if we didn't
what
have
he's saying
these
is
laws in place.
it trumps all other law.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why they created these laws to govern the, you know, the law of the ocean. And that's what we're really under. They say it's the law of the land, but the law of the ocean and the law that exceeds everything, you know, is the maritime law. You know, so that's what governs everything. And that's why you have, you know, with all these banks and all this stuff. And that's why banks rule. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, all of them, you know, their rulership exceeds the land base, because they rule from ocean to ocean, land to land. And and the ideas, Rockefeller has even put it in words. He said, I don't need a nation of thinkers, I need a nation of workers. You know. And so he's actually said what his intentions were. So the bankers are who are the real rulers of this world. They don't
Tell them about the
here.
Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve Bank.
Oh yeah.
How's that related?
The Federal Reserve is supposed to be national or federal or whatever, but it's really privately owned.
Yep. Bet y'all didn't know that.
It's privately owned, and so you have a group of families that actually own the Federal Reserve, that own, and what they did, they would create wars, and they would sponsor both sides. They would sponsor both sides, and they would fund both sides, and they would reap all the benefits of the war.
Like whoever won, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
They getting paid.
They would
and the
reap
people
all
who
the
lost
benefits.
gonna have to pay them back too.
Yeah, exactly.
Both sides
Yeah.
gonna have to pay them back. Yeah.
Yep. And just like Rockefeller said,
With interest.
I don't need a nation of thinkers. I need a nation of workers. You know. So it's pretty much pretty much created a slave. You know, a slave race. You work, and you if you think about it, you work, go home, go to the grocery store, go to the liquor store, go to the club, or whatever you do, and then you go back to work. You know, that's your cycle. It's like a rat race. It's like mice in a obstacle course. The little obstacle course they go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, they run through the treadmill, or they have the little maze where they run through the obstacle course, and it's a rat race. You know, somebody's always gonna have more money than you. Somebody always gonna drive a better car than you. You know, somebody's gonna always have a better job than you. So
you'll continue to chase it.
It's yeah.
What they got.
You know, it's an endless chase. You know, so and they set this up. We think we're coming up with all of these fly sayings or whatever.
Oh man.
We think we coming up with all of these.
Preach.
Yeah, we think we coming up with all of these styles and all that stuff. But really, these styles have been put up on us to be in competition with each other. You know, that's where the rat race comes in at. You know, so
it's like we sponsors too, because we walk around with the Nike check.
We promote it. We promote it. We wear the shirts with the pictures on it. We throw up the signs. And then I'm gonna tell you something else too. They had during World War II, they had experiments with not only medical experiments, but they also had mind control experiments. And they would, so now you have the TikTok, you have the Instagram, you have the Facebook and all that, and all you have to do is say a few words in a song, a hip-hop song, and then everybody, thousands, millions of people are saying the same saying in this song.
It's a trance.
Doing the same dance.
Totally,
you know?
it's a trance.
So it's like a hypnotism. It's like a trance. It's like mind control. You know. So it's like, you know, they control how the people think, how the people react, you know, with the music. And then I heard that there was a big meeting with all the record labels. They had, I think it was something going on with the prison system. They had all these private prisons, and they needed to fill the prisons. If they didn't fill the prisons, then they owed the state or the government, whatever, a certain amount of money.
It costs money to run this, yeah.
So they had a big meeting, said that we need to promote violence. We need to promote all of this stuff to fill these prisons up, or else y'all gonna owe us money back. So what they did was they got together with these record labels, and some of these artists didn't agree with it. Some of them, you know, went along with it, and they told them, we need to fill these prisons up. Some of them walked out of the meeting, some of them didn't, you know. And they told him they gonna promote violence. They're gonna promote hip hop at the same time, but they're gonna promote violence. They're gonna promote these people pretty much to get locked up, to catch these cases, to have all these charges against them, to keep these prisons filled, because they had a contract and they needed to keep that contract, or they're gonna have to owe all this money to the government. So they fulfilled their contract, and a lot of these record labels and record executives and all that participated in it, and they filled these prisons. They had all of these producers, all these record labels executives, and all these other artists engaging in this so they could fill these prisons, commit crimes, and all this stuff, while,
hold up, man,
you know, they sat in these offices, these luxurious offices, and drunk champagne, made their money or whatever, while all these other people at the lower end was catching these cases and filling up these prisons, you know. So that was the plan. And that is what was the result of them planning to fill all of these prisons, because they had the mainstream prisons, but they had a lot of private prisons, and they needed to fill them up.
basically the prison system and the music in the prison industry and the music industry is intertwined. Is basically what he's saying. You know, you got private owners of everything, and you if you think they don't talk to each other, you crazy.
I remember because I've been to prison, and I remember us getting. We had a newspaper we used to get in the prison, and all this land that they had out there used to be filled with cows and all this stuff there. And then when you go to the next couple of pages, it's filled with prisoners. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, bro. So it's like the same thing, basically.
It's filled with
make
prisoners.
more money.
Yeah.
The human bodies is worth more than the
worth
cattle.
more than the cattle. You know? So they had a plan, because we're the highest commodity. Of course, we're worth more than cattle, you know, cows and stuff like that, you know. So they had a plan. So now, instead of all of this Texas land being filled with cattle and stuff like that, they replaced it with the prisoners. You know what I'm saying? Now the prisoners is out there. And I remember one time I was even out there picking cotton, bro. I was out there picking.
I believe didn't
bro,
pay you a dime either, huh?
What? It was like
did
2000.
they pay you? Did they pay you for
No,
that?
they ain't pay me nothing. It was 2011, bro. And I got a fucking. They had the mattresses, and what they would do, they would take all the cotton out of the mattress, put a strap on it,
Bro,
put it on our shoulder,
you're killing me, bro.
and we would be out there fucking pick. I'm like, I'm really out here fucking 2011 picking fucking cotton, bro. Bro, they really had us out there picking cotton, and so now the prison industry is doing business with the farm owners and with the farmland, and they're getting free labor from the prisons.
Exactly, that's part of the setup.
So we not only did we have that, we had the garment factories. So you got all these prisoners, and the garment factory had pool, bro. When I was in the garment factory, we got in trouble, catch a case, anything like that, get written up. We would go to the head lady of the garment factory, and we would tell her, look, I caught this case, you know, could you, you know, talk to the captain for me? You know, because the captains was the ones that ran the cases, the minor cases and the major cases.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Didn't make it up to the people.
So when she said something to them, we good.
Damn.
Because we provide her with free labor.
She got pulled.
Yeah. We providing her with free labor. I don't know what they were paying her or exactly what she had going on, because we wasn't part of those meetings or whatever. But she would say something and we would be good. It would be reduced from major to minor or whatever, and then we would be good. Because if we get a major case, we can't work in the factory no more. You know what I'm saying? So
tell us some more stories about like stuff that happened that could be an example of, you know, the system, you know, basically being slavery and basically exploiting people and stuff like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, cause I don't remember, you told me some shit about some paint or something. What? I don't remember, bro. I don't know. Any story, something that really kind of illustrates how.
Well, they're using the prison system. Okay, I'm gonna go back. We're gonna take it back. Now, when the slaves were freed, the slaves, okay, it said, well, these slaves been working for us for free. They've been picking our cotton. They've been picking our cotton. They've been doing this. They've been working this and they've been working that. So now they're free. So now we still need their labor. So with the penal system, they say that you are free except for if you convicted of a felony.
Right.
So now, if you convicted of a felony, you still gotta work for free.
Right.
You know? So what they did was they started picking blacks and putting cases on them. And now you gotta work for free.
Right.
So they would charge you with any little thing.
Right.
Traffic violations, You know, you're walking on the
And
wrong
then
side
try
of the
to-
sidewalk.
Try to push it up to
You know?
a felony by
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
third strike
Yeah.
is a felony.
But what it is, they want to get you in the system so you
Right.
can do some of this free labor.
Right,
You walking down the sidewalk on the wrong side of the sidewalk.
right.
You know, you jaywalking or you doing whatever. So
Right.
they get you back in the system, and now they can get free labor. So with the slaves, all they had to do was pin this on them, and now you back in there working for free. You're back in the system. You know,
Right.
so because they're like, oh, they're free now, so we can't get this free labor. So now all we have to do is charge them with felony or whatever, and now they're back in the system, and now they're working for free. Now we can get our free labor again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Look. All right. Tell them how you use the law to beat your case, like the shit you wrote.
Oh, so when I went to prison, I caught my case in like around 1995. So what I did was I looked at my environment and I said the best thing for me is that law library. So I started going to the law library and learning law, learning what my rights was, because I was already conscious before I went to prison.
Yeah.
You know, so that consciousness ain't going nowhere.
Right.
You know, I'm not on the other level.
Like
of,
people say, you ain't stupid because you went to prison.
Yeah.
You stupid. You got caught. That's why
Yeah.
you went to prison.
Yeah. So I didn't lose my intelligence when I got to prison. So now I need to use my intelligence. So I started going to the law library, learning the law, and I found out. What was the question again?
I want you to explain to them, because this is a good ass story, bro.
Mm-hmm.
About how you beat the system yourself by writing up that this
okay.
dude, bro.
So-
This dude went and read the book. In the fucking, they was trying to fuck him, bro. They was fucking him
Yeah.
royally, bro. And he was like, "Fuck this!" It pissed him off. It pissed him off, bro. He tried to go through it the right way and talk to them people and do the thing. The shit pissed him off. Wouldn't nobody help him? So the nigga went into the library, read the fucking books, wrote the shit up himself, and beat the fucking case, bro. Tell the story.
So in there, your power is limited. You know, you're an individual. You're trying to go against the whole system. So you can't just walk up to the officers and just slap them or beat them down. So you gotta beat them with their system. They offer you a law library. They offer you a library. You know, they offer you a system. So I started going to the law library. I said I need to go, you know, and learn the law. That way I can protect my rights and protect others' rights. So I started going to the law library, learning my rights, and I talked to other brothers that was in there, what they call writ writers, that know the law, and I actually took it a step further because a lot of the writ writers, what they call them in prison, that learn the law or whatever, they limit themselves to how they're gonna go against the system. But I took it a step further, and I learned the law. And which actually, when I got out, I continued with that. But so that was my drive. This is showing my drive. I sued the prison system, and it's rare that it happens that you sue the prison system and win, because they all gonna come against you. So I actually sued the prison system. I think it was in I don't remember what county it was. But I sued the prison system. They, all of a sudden, when I start filing on them and writing these grievances, and which in the prison system you have a step 1 grievance and a step 2 grievance. And then you file your lawsuit, which you call 1983, which is a federal rights law. You file your 1983 and you attach it to your step 1 and step 2. Because in step 1 you have to file that. They have to answer that. You file your step 2, they have to answer that. And then your step 3, and then that's when you file your lawsuit, which is called 1983 federal rights violation. So I filed that.
Oh, I can't get it because it's on the
And
TV.
next thing you know, I'm going to Tyler, Texas, because I'm from Texas. I'm from Houston. Next thing you know, they driving me 2 hours every court date to Tyler, Texas. And I'm getting to Tyler, Texas, and the judge, I remember his name was John D. Love. He was really serious about investigating this. He wasn't taking the side of the prison. Matter of fact, they didn't even like the prisoners, the prison guards or the prisoners.
Because they know they fucking...
They crooked. And because they've seen hundreds of cases.
They know.
Still come
They already
through,
know, yeah.
You know. And I filed that. Next thing you know, I end up in a riot. And the motherfucker tried to stab me in the chest. You know. We end up in a riot. So I'm like, did they set me up because I filed a lawsuit against them?
Damn.
So I end up surviving that. You know, I was in a riot and somebody stabbed me in the chest, but it only poked a little bit through my skin. You know. And it just so happened right when I'm filing this lawsuit. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So I made it through that. I go to court, and I didn't file in state court because they are the state. So I filed in federal court, which is jurisdiction above them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Just gonna send that shit right back.
Yeah, exactly. So I filed it in federal court. The judge is John D. Love, and I go to court. So we were picking a jury. So they have some construction workers, some other workers that work with all different races. Because I'm in Tyler, Texas, you know. There's a bunch of races in Tyler, Texas. You know what I'm saying? So I find Texas. So, because my judge was arguing with the judge. And guess what? They picked the lawyer for me that was friends with the judge outside of the courtroom. He never worked a case with him inside the courtroom. They were friends outside of the courtroom.
Yeah.
So...
Yes, because see, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like they knew them niggas was crooked and they was...
Yeah, exactly.
They was waiting for a situation like this where you was following the law and they could latch on.
Yeah. So, my lawyer was telling the judge, man, the jury ain't gonna... They feel like prisoners get steaks for dinner and this and that taken care of, so they're not gonna want to give no money. And to a certain extent, he was right. So, the jury that I picked was construction workers, other workers like that work with all nationalities. You know what I'm saying? So, I ended up picking a good jury. So, it ended up being one black lady. All the rest of them was white. Only one black lady in the jury pool. Because you got to be registered to vote and all that shit. No felonies, none of that shit. To be able to be
willing to show up
registered
at 8:30
as
in the morning, all that shit.
As a juror. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he entered the courtroom just to talk to her to try to get her to stay on the jury. And she ended up not staying on the jury.
Damn.
So my jury ended up being all white.
Yeah.
But I got construction workers. I got other people that work with all races. You know what I'm saying? Army and all that stuff. So they can't discriminate. You know what I'm saying? Or, which they can, but it's their choice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she ended up not, so I can't judge nobody, this and that. So she ended up not, being on the jury. And they had the lieutenant, the sergeant of the prison system, the major, and the major got up there and my lawyer was like, how long had you been at the prison? 3 months. So how did you know that this sergeant was of good character, this and that, and you only been there 3 months? So he ate him up with that. My lawyer was the people in the courtroom. And so they ended up deliberating. Oh, my lawyer ate the warden up, the warden, the major, all of them up. And the jury deliberated for like 45 minutes. They came back. He was guilty. And they said that my constitutional rights were violated. Because in prison you have, I think there's a Second Amendment right and an Eighth Amendment right to break free from violence at the hands of prisoners and prison guards. So they really looked at that.
Right.
And they deliberated for like 45 minutes. And when I came in the courtroom, it was an older white lady. She said, "It's showtime." You know, she was a court reporter. They're like, "It's showtime." So I came in there, and the judges, court reporters, paralegals, and all them, they give me a thumbs up. You know, they was like, you know, because they had looked at my case and they seen that I was in the right, and then they had violated my rights. So the jury deliberated like 45 minutes, and they came back. They found the dude guilty. You know, they found him guilty, and they paid me. They put the money on my books. You know, it took like 24 hours. This guy had 2 lawyers. They quit on him. They like, hell no, we're not finna do it. He got another lawyer, and then he was like, that lawyer was a female. She called me. She's like, "Marquise, we trying to get this resolved. You know, we're going to put the money on your books in 24 hours. What you suing for?" And that's exactly what they did, you know, because they know, you know.
What about, like, you had to write it up, right, on paper in a certain way?
Oh, let me tell you about that.
Yeah.
So, what they did was, they created this riot where I would get stabbed, so I couldn't sue them. But the shank only went about a little bit past my skin like that. I had a little drop of blood coming out, and they took me to the hospital. The doctor took a Q-tip in, and it only went that far, and I was like, he's all right, you know. But they tried to prevent that, but it didn't work out in their favor because the shank hit my rib bone and didn't go in, you know. So all the lieutenants and all them asked me, "Oh, Marquise, what happened? What did you win? This and that, this and that." I was on Beto unit. Yeah, you had Beto, Michael, Copefield. They were all in the same area, around Dallas, in between Dallas and Houston, Texas, or whatever. And I remember getting out of the van that the state officials from my prison ended up bringing me. They had to drive me 2 hours to Tyler, Texas. So they drove me in the van, they let me out, and they had me shackled over my hands and my feet. So the prison guards were locking up the truck, and I was walking away from the van, and the constable, the federal constable was taking pictures of me like I was walking away, like I was escaping. That's how the picture looked.
Yeah.
You know, like I was escaping from the. But the whole time I saw that they were, because they had investigated my case, so they saw that I was in the right.
Yeah.
They already knew. So they were taking a picture of me, like, you know. But I was like, they're taking pictures of me. They give me the thumbs up and this and that, you know. And after my trial ended, the judge came down off of the podium, came down and shook my lawyer's hand and greeted everybody else. But he didn't shake my hand because he couldn't show any impartiality, you know. Because he knew, you know, that I was in the right.
Mm-hmm.
He knew, you know, he had investigated in my case. All of the paralegals and everybody was in the background, you know, giving me the thumbs up and all that stuff. You know, he knew I was in the right.
Yeah, so, well, 2 things. First, you didn't say about how the paper part worked. And another thing is, I kind of want to hear a story about how, like, an example of, you know, how the system kind of, like, using slave labor type shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, just shitty shit they be doing.
So, what they do is, they create a contract with these companies, and they use their prisoners as free labor, you know, because we didn't get paid a dime.
What kind of stuff were y'all doing?
And at one time, we was even picking cotton, bro.
Yeah, what other stuff was y'all doing?
We were making license plate. We were making uniforms for the prisoners. You know, it was called a garment factory. We were making license plates, or we were making the thermals for the prisoners. The white thermals that they wear for the winter. You know when the prisoners get cold and have to work outside or work
Y'all
whatever.
made those?
Yeah, we made those. We made the orange and white suits.
Really?
We made those. Yeah, we made the shoes. So if you in a garment factory, you had pull. Because if you were good with the owner of a garment factory, and you get in any trouble or anything like that, all you had to do was talk to her, and then she'd make your bond.
What other kind of stuff did they have y'all doing? Like, so I think I remember y'all used to tell me a story about going off site and some shit with some paint or some shit. I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, I don't know, but I know that they have, they had college in there, where you can work on cars, you learn how to work on cars, you do AC work, you learn how to do garment factory, you work in the kitchen, and then they have you where you just work in the laundry, where you washing all of the stuff that prisoners use, washing the clothes, drying them or whatever, and then you work in the kitchen, where you're feeding everybody and making the food or whatever, That was pretty much, But they have colleges that have contracts with the prison. So you can enroll in college in the prison. And the colleges, because I remember I took computer science, business computers. That's what I took. And we woke up, we would go to class at 5 in the morning. And we were staying there, because I think I did like a 6-month trade or whatever. We would go 5 hours a day, from like 5 or 6 in the morning after breakfast. We would go to breakfast in the chow hall, and we would go to class. We would work like 5 hours, and then we would go back to our dormitories, So that's how that was. We would go back to our dormitories, and we did it for like, it would be like a 6-month trade. So we did 5 hours a day for 6 months.
You still there? What's good? My bad, I ain't see this shit till right now. Still learning how to do all this shit, bruh. Mm-hmm. Still learning, bruh.
So they definitely, pretty much what it was, let me explain to you. Pretty much what it was they were getting the free labor with the slaves. And
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Let's bring it back to the...
When the slavery ended, they needed to find a way to still get that free labor. Free slave labor. Mm-hmm. So they created the prison.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So they would charge you with anything to get you in that same... Because I think it says you are free except by felony or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, I think you're talking about the 13th Amendment. It says something about...
Yeah, you are free unless you are convicted of felony.
Some shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it wrong.
So what they did was they started putting felonies on all of the black people, melanated people, so they can still get that free labor. And like I say, bro, at one point, bro, I was out there with a hollow mattress with a strap on it on my shoulder, fucking picking cotton, and fucking. What was it? Fucking 2011, bro.
Bro.
We were still fucking picking cotton.
I'ma start crying, bro.
Yeah, we were still fucking picking cotton in fucking 2011, 2012, bro.
Don't make me cry, bro. Let's talk about something else, bro. Like, what you got? Say something, bro? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I will just tell you.
What's up? Bingo.
Time, when you started, because I heard him say something.
What a drink at?
Oh, no, he got it.
What was he saying? Because I'm buzzing like a motherfucker. So that go easy. Now, I don't know. That's why I want to ask you, how long you on film?
What's that?
How long is it? I mean, because we live.
Yeah, we live right now, bro.
I know, okay.
We live, bro. Just say hello to the people, bro. There's some people up here. Culican, Mexico. I can't say it, bro. I don't know why. I should know this. It must be a small place. What's up, bro? What's up? Yeah, man. So like, all right, like, and then we could talk about like Native Americans, Mexico.
That's exactly, you read my mind.
That's where you was
That's
gonna go.
exactly where I was gonna go.
Go.
So now let me give you an example. Now, they say that, okay, we had like 13 million African slaves. Now let me correct something. And let me open y'all eyes open to something. They say that 13 million slaves was brought from Africa over here.
Thanks, man.
Okay, now they say only 300,000 Africans were brought to the U.S. Not 300 million, but 300,000. So out of 13 million slaves, only 300,000 were brought to the U.S. So where did the rest of them come from? They were already here. So all of the African ancestors were not brought from Africa. We were already here. They were shipped to the Caribbean. They were shipped to South America. They were shipped to all these other places, Louisiana, all these other places. So all of the blacks that were in America, ancestors didn't come from Africa and wasn't slaves. You know, and they pretty much, y'all can believe me or y'all can not believe me, but I'm going to give you my perspective and my study and my research. The Africans or the blacks or whatever you want to call them that were in America, no, forget that. I'm going to say the Indians. The Columbus called them Indians or whatever. I said they were Aboriginals. They took the Indians from America, shipped them to Africa, and then brought them black as slaves and classified them as Negro. Your grandmother, my grandmother, which is our grandmother's the same, his grandma, they all told us that we were Indian. You know, we have family in Louisiana. We have family in Louisiana, and my grandma always told me, baby, we Cherokee. But that's why we have the high cheekbones. Look at us. We have the high cheekbones. We have the Indian blood or whatever. You know, that's what they say, the Indian blood. But we were told slavery in reverse. They shipped the Indians over to Africa and sent them back and sold them into slavery and classified them as Negro. So, if you look at it, out of 13 million African slaves, only 300,000 got sent to the U.S. You can look it up. It's not unclassified. It's classified. You can look it up. Out of 13 million African slaves, only 300,000 got sent to the U.S. The rest were already here. And if you look at Martin Luther King's speech, we are held captive in our own homeland. That means we were already here. We are the true Aboriginals. We are the true Israelites. We were the ones that were already here. And now, if you look at history, it starts from a certain point and ends to a certain point. It always starts at dark skin, and then it evolves to light skin after the mixture of the Spanish, after the mixture of the Europeans. You know, we were already here. We were the Aboriginals of this land. We were the natives here. We were the Aboriginals. You know, they reclassified the Indians as Negro, sold them in slavery as Negro. You know. So they actually told us slavery in reverse. Instead of the African slaves being brought to here and then sold in slavery. No, they took the Indians and sent them to Europe, sent them to Africa, sent them back to America as slaves and reclassified as slaves. Why do you wonder every black person that you look at has Indian blood? Why is that? Which we were not really Indian. Columbus thought he landed in India or Indonesia or whatever thought he landed in, which he actually landed in Indian America. He ended up landing in South America.
His lost ass.
Yeah. You know, actually thought that he landed, and he just said, oh, these are Indians. You know, that's why you have the Indians that were down here, and then you have the Indians that was up there close to Asia, and they call themselves Indians. So how you have the Indians up there and the Indians down here, you know? And that's why, but they say, okay, we have a European from Europe that came down here, so we're gonna give credit to whatever he says. They're like, no, you know, that it was only 300,000 African slaves that were actually brought to America and South America and North America, and all the rest were already here, and they were called Aboriginals. That's just like you look at the Australians. What example did they give you of Australia? Crocodile Dundee.
Man, I've been avoiding Australia, I ain't gonna lie. Australia is a story that you guys really need to try to understand better, okay? You know, there's an island off the coast of Australia. What is it called? Tanzania, whatever. Mm-hmm. And the last of the Aborigines, really. Well, not the last of them, but there was a group that lived on that island. This island wasn't uninhabited, bruh. It had people there, and then when they came over there, you know, it went down. They was killing them, whittling them down. They ended up all in the trees and shit, hiding from them and shit. It was only a few left, and then they was like, okay, y'all good. We're not gonna kill all y'all because it's only a few of y'all left or whatever. So then but it was only a few. They didn't have enough to make no kids. They grew old and died, and that race of people is gone. Completely gone, because they were different from the ones that were on the main of Australia. So the Aborigines that's still there are different from the ones that are completely gone from that island, bro. Completely gone. Okay, and what y'all need to understand about Australia is it's kind of like the United States, because when they did that settler colonialism over the whole motherfucker, you know, why the hell is Australia so European? What the fuck, bro? What the fuck?
And I gotta say something on that. Because well, when
God
you look
damn,
at
how did that happen, y'all? How did that happen?
When you look at Australia, you get the image of Crocodile Dundee. You know, you get the image of the white guys, and I don't have nothing against white people. You know, I'm just speaking. You know, what happened? You get the image of Crocodile Dundee with the hat, the cowboy hat, and he's chasing alligators or whatever, chasing treasure or whatever he's chasing. But the original image of Australia is the Aboriginals. So what they did was, when they came over and took over Australia, they kicked all the Aboriginals to the outskirts of the city and took over the inner city. You know? So, what we get on TV, what we get in the media is Crocodile Dundee, but the original Aboriginals are being outcast to the outskirts of the city and be treated like fourth-class citizens.
Yep.
When you look at the original Aboriginals of Australia, they were people of color. You know? They were people of color. They're the ones that blow those pipes and, you know, all the stuff that they have that they're part of their culture.
Right.
You know, and I think in mind those horns that they blow and, you know, all the stuff they do. So they've introduced them to drugs and all this other stuff. You know, that's got them. They're like a bunch of cush heads.
Yep. Alcoholics.
Yeah.
Yep.
They got them like a bunch of cush heads, and they kicked them to the outskirts of the city.
It's funny, but it's not funny.
Yeah. They kicked them to the outskirts of the city, so now the images you get of Australia, like the original Australia, is the crocodile Dundee dude.
Some old British talking ass
Yeah,
nigga. How does that don't make sense, bro?
So, pretty much what it breaks down to is you have people of color and you have people of non-color. You know, that's pretty much what, and you have a mixture of them in different areas. And I would say from India to the Middle East, you have the Indians, you have the Middle Easterns, and you have the people of the middle that speak like Urdu. They speak Urdu, and
oh shit,
you have the people that speak Urdu, and
I must have took that shit. Oh, it's in my car.
Yeah,
my bad. Go ahead.
The people that speak Urdu, and so they're pretty much dividing everybody according to a line that you put from this state to this state. So since you live on this side of the line, you're this. You're better than people that live on this side of the line. Mm-hmm. No, it's pretty much a division of black and white and mixed with black and white, and a mix with black and Asian, and a mixture with Asian and white. That's all it is. You know, that's all it is. Matter of fact, I was at work today. And I spoke with. We had a customer that lived in between Indonesia and the Middle East. So she was a mixture of the Middle Eastern people and the middle of the Indian people. You know, she was a mixture of both of them. And then we had another customer come right behind her that was fully Indian. So I asked her, I say, have you ever wondered why they call y'all Indians and the people that lived in the South America Indians? You know, it was because Columbus sailed down here and he thought he landed in the West Indies. He was actually in South America.
Yeah.
So he just called them Indians.
Dumbass.
You know, but they wasn't really Indians. So it's pretty much only the people of color and the people of non-color. You know, and I'm not against the people of non-color. You know, we're a mixture of French. All of us, we're all cousins. We're a mixture of French. You know, but it's pretty much the people of color versus the people of non-color. So they try to divide you in these categories, these titles or whatever. And I always say that blacks have to give up their South African heritage, their Egyptian heritage, their Middle Eastern heritage to become black. To take on the black title.
Yeah.
White people have to give up their European, their German, their Jewish, their what else is over there in Europe? Germany, London heritage, Middle Eastern,
Slavics.
Yeah, to become white. So black and white are titles.
Right.
They're nothing but titles.
Right. Understand that. Listen.
Yeah. They're nothing but titles. They're classes pretty much. The black class and the white class.
Boom.
So if I take on the white class, then that's a class above the black class.
And it's kind of like a distinction, right?
Exactly.
Even within the law.
Yeah.
Explain
exactly. that. Yeah. So black and white in the Black's Law Dictionary are classes. So if I get on the radio, I'm a police officer, and I get on the radio and say, it's a black male. So when I say that, then that shows that I have ownership over this individual. He has no rights. He's a slave, and he's doing whatever he's doing wrong. So I can actually kill him and get away with it because I have ownership over him and I have a right over him.
You don't have no rights within the law.
Exactly.
Not really.
So when I label you as black on your birth certificate or your driver license or whatever, black male, I get on radio, black male, I'm a cop, black male, you know. So I just said that you belong to me, you have no rights, I can do whatever I want to do to you, and you can't do nothing about it because I own you because of that black label.
Right. It's like
Because that black label eliminates that you're Egyptian, that you're South American, that you're from.
Actually, you become property.
And we're not even gonna go to Africa. We're gonna say Honduras, Venezuelan, Colombian, Cuban. They all have black people in all of those races.
Right.
But when you have to give up Colombian, Cuban, Egyptian, South American, South African for the label black, that puts you in a certain class.
Right.
And just like the white class, they're German, Italian, Jewish. You give up, the whites had to give up all of that to become white, to become a class. And I was even talking to my GM at work. He's like, it's obvious that I'm white. It's because you chose to accept that.
Right. Because of the privileges that
Yeah,
come along with it.
Exactly. You chose to accept that. You know,
What's white and black got to do with it, though?
exactly.
It's like gray,
And then you
black.
look at the Black's Law Dictionary, those are classes.
Because
Those are classes in Black's Law Dictionary. That's why they get on the radio and say black male.
when we bleed,
Or they say white male,
what color we bleed?
you know. So
Red.
when I say
Oh, shit.
when they say white male on the radio,
do the same thing.
you know, you don't come with all of these officers with their guns
Exactly.
pointed out.
They all asking questions.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys okay?
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
we help you with
You know,
something?
Now, I was watching a video called White Privilege. And in the video, they said that this white lady was talking. One white lady was talking. I'm giving you an example of one that was talking. She said, I don't have to worry about, she said, I've got pulled over many a times and I've never got a ticket. She said, I'm always speeding, but because I'm white. She said it became a joke. She said, I don't have to worry about getting followed when I'm in the store.
Mhm.
She said, I don't have to worry about getting turned down for credit. I don't have to get turned down for this and that, you know, because of the white privilege. But when you go in the store and you're black, you're going to get followed. You're going to ask what you going to buy. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get asked. And this became so bad to when you go in a black store, you can go in a Family Dollar in the black neighborhood, and the blacks going to be watching you. Let you people around the corner
That's
one
what I
time.
said in the other video, cause
Yeah.
they watching the news too, and they like, damn,
Yeah,
these niggas is
exactly.
wild.
Because the media is promoting that. The media is promoting that. And now when a black walk by a black car full of black people, they lock their doors.
Them niggas is wild.
Because they're watching the media.
I don't know what they might do something crazy.
The only thing about that is that black people can't let go.
So black
They
and
started
white
trying to be in a position
in Black's
that they
Law
can't- they
Dictionary
trying to be
is
something that they're
classes.
not, but the system
I'm trying to say something.
keeps them rotating.
Yeah.
The system keep them rotating.
Because if
in
you
the
think
same
about
fucking
it,
position.
just
So
like my
we
G-
stay
No.
at this standstill. We
Mhm.
stay in this.
Arrested development.
Mhm.
Yes. We stay in. We
So if you
we
think
in
about
a, circle too, just like a prison.
So if you think about it, I was talking to my white GM, and he said, it's obvious that I'm white. You know. It's because you accept that. When I was watching a documentary called White Privilege, and it was nothing but white people talking on the video. And they were saying the things, you know, that were like, I don't have to be followed around the store. I don't have to be worried about being pulled over by cops and this and that, you know. They don't, I always